This afternoon, or I should say this morning. Sun is shining, but it is early morning for NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. And today we are live on the channel to bring you all of the Saturday NASCAR coverage, beginning with this practice session for this weekend's running of the FireKeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. My home track. I always love this weekend every year, although it has been changed from recent years being in August now up to June, which we used to see a June Michigan date when they would have two races a season, but ever since switching to one race a year, we have been in August. It's been since 2019, the last time there was a June Michigan race. So slightly cooler temperatures, but still relatively warm this weekend, mid to high 70s. Sun shining here today, no rain in the forecast for today. A little spotty tomorrow, but hope for the best as we get this weekend's coverage continued onward throughout the course of the season with the trajectory that we are at right now. 15th race already of the NASCAR Cup Series season, and we are in the third consecutive points paying race this weekend out of 17 that will finish the season off on consecutive weeks. So as far as this weekend goes, we have the Group 1 drivers on the racetrack right now. There are no open entries this week, so 18 cars will be in Group 1 and then 18 in Group number 2. Alex Bowman firing off as the quickest through the first few laps, as you see 2 to 3 laps pretty much completed by almost every driver in this group to this point. We'll see if the lap times will change anymore for who may jump to the top in Group 1 as this session continues onward. Appreciate everybody tuning in for this weekend's live commentary streams. Only two of them, very short. I mentioned Michigan is my home track. I've actually been at every Michigan Cup race since 2018 in the June. So going back again for tomorrow, we will have live commentary we will have live commentary coverage for today with this, and then with the Craftsman Truck Series race a little bit later on this afternoon. But as far as tomorrow's streaming goes, there will not be any streams. There will be race highlight videos that'll be uploaded from the grandstands, and I'll probably keep you guys informed on that throughout the course of this stream and as well as the stream later today. Community tab again tomorrow morning, as I posted on the community tab yesterday about the schedule. And I probably mentioned it last weekend that I was going to be gone for tomorrow, but just in case you didn't know. As far as the fastest time right now for Alex Bowman, 36.926 is that fastest lap. 194.984 mile per hour average on that lap. Obviously, Michigan, the fastest track in NASCAR as far as unrestricted speeds go. That's not a drafting style racetrack. They're hauling the mail into turn one. We will see speeds of almost 210 miles an hour in qualifying entering turn one a little later on. Alex Bowman, again, on the top of the speed charts as of right now. Austin Dillon is second. Ty Gibbs third. Ryan Preece fourth. Noah Gragson fifth. Brad Keselowski sixth. John Nemechek seventh. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. eighth. Todd Gilliland ninth. And Michael McDowell 10th. AJ Allmendinger 11th. Cole Custer 12th. Josh Berry 13th. Justin Haley 14th. Ty Dillon 15th. Tony Ware 16th. Shane Van Gisbergen 17th. And Riley Herbst 18th. Of 18 in Group 1, and obviously Group 2 will have the next 18. A lot of these drivers did not have relatively good finishes last week at Nashville, or they're hurting in the point standings, which is the reason for why they were drawn to run in Group number 1. These will be obviously the first 18 qualifiers as well, and we'll get into the back 18 later. 25 minutes per group for practice, as we usually see on most NASCAR Cup Series race weekends. Select tracks throughout the year will get a full practice session. If there's a different tire compound, maybe a rules package change, new track in certain aspects as well. Changes to the racetrack, obviously none here at Michigan. So 25 minutes for Group 1 and Group 2. Amazon Prime videos where you can watch visually for today's practice and qualifying as well as tomorrow's race. And that will continue on for the next 2 weeks following this week as well. Let you listen into that Amazon Prime booth with Dale Jr., Steve Letarte, and Adam Alexander.
The runs 28's had over the last several weeks, so he comes into a racetrack where he is absolutely struggling with average finish at 24th here. So does that slide continue at a critical moment in the season? You better have your stuff figured out tomorrow looking at these lap times. Last time, 36.9. Slow time for Bowman, 37.2. That throw a blanket over those lap times. Fuel efficiency, plans on pit road, pit stops, speeding will end your day, mistake by the pit crew. I mean, this is going to be an efficiency sort of race. You're going to have a great car, but it's going to be really hard to drive through that. Josh Berry in the 21 there has had a bit of a struggle since his victory in Vegas earlier this year. And, they lacked a little bit of speed last week, qualified poorly, got himself up into the top 15 late in stage 2. Had an issue on pit road that cost him a ton of track position and got a pretty bad result overall. And looking at the monitor right here, you see 13th on the board. Speed just not there for Josh and the Wood brothers out of the gate.
Well, that Blue Oval, they pride themselves with their run here. 1-9 of last 10. We talk about the Heritage Trophy, the trophy that's assigned between the manufacturers for racing here in Michigan. And Ford has kind of put their stamp on the dominance over the last 10 races.
Michael McNeil right there in the 71, following Josh around the racetrack. Great opportunity for Michael to kind of understand what his car is going to do behind another car. Everybody else is pretty spread out, so you don't get many chances in practice, a very brief practice, to be around other cars. So maybe Michael really appreciate his chance to talk to his team. Adam?
Yeah, you look at that 21 car, and the Wood brothers have had so much success here all time. You go all the way back 1969, first ever race here in Michigan, won by the Wood brothers, Cale Yarborough behind the wheel, replica paint scheme this weekend. How cool is that? I mean, such a nice flashback to what we saw here so many years ago.
Cubic inches on the hood. That's old school look.
Josh Berry, 13th on the board right now. Alex Bowman leads for 10 minutes in the Group 1 practice in Michigan.
All right, so some of the lap averages would have taken off already. Everybody in this session has ran anywhere between 5 to 12 laps, very few with only 5. It looks like the colleague Chevy's pulled off a little early, and as well as Brad Keselowski after 8 laps, which we usually see Brad run several laps. The RFK cars in general will only run a few laps, make changes, go back out on the track. Really, since this group practice has been implemented with the minimal amount of time given to these teams, again, 25 laps. When you go to a bigger oval like this at Michigan, to run straight laps, you're really only going to get about a good, 25, 30 laps at most if you were to run the entire 25 minutes. Obviously, it takes a minute to get up to speed, scrub the tires off on that opening lap, getting up to speed before getting to the start-finish line. Ty Gibbs has the fastest 5 and 10 lap average as of right now. That shouldn't be a surprise. He was pretty quick at Michigan last season. He ended up actually finishing in 3rd. And he's been pretty good at Michigan. This is one of his better tracks in his Cup Series career. 3 races here, if you include his part-time drive back in 2023. He hasn't finished worse than 11th. I mentioned already 3rd last year. He does have another top 10, which would have been in his rookie season. So we'll see what Ty Gibbs can do for this weekend. We'll highlight the point standings coming into this race today. William Byron, for the 2nd consecutive race, is out in front in the standings. And again, he has led in points for all but 3 of the first 14 races so far this season. Ryan Blaney led for the first 2. Kyle Larson led for 1 race after his Kansas win. And William Byron has led the rest. 48-point lead for Byron over Larson. He extends that gap by 13 points after another good performance last week at Nashville. And Kyle Larson lack thereof. Minus 88 points for Christopher Bell, who's 3rd in the standings, who Larson and Bell also have the most wins this year, 3 apiece, but trailing because Byron has just been that gosh darn consistent this season. Over 100 points to 4th place Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott 5th at minus 105, then Tyler Reddick 6th, Ryan Blaney 7th, Joey Logano 8th, Ross Chastain 9th, and Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 10 in the standings. 48 points is a pretty good cushion, but we still have 12 races left in the regular season, so a lot could change there. And I wouldn't necessarily even count out Elliott or Bell if they get on a hot streak as well. Maybe a Reddick, Elliott, Blaney can make a serious push, but they're closer to almost 2 full races of points back, so they're going to have to get super, super hot if that is the case. Ryan Blaney is coming in off a win from last week at Nashville, his first of the season. So we now have 9 different drivers locked into the playoff side of things with wins on the year. I mentioned 3 wins already for Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. 2 wins for Denny Hamlin, and then we have 6 drivers who have 1 win this year, which would include William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, and Josh Berry. And that means 7 drivers coming into this weekend could qualify for points to make their way into the playoffs. As of right now, the highest drivers in the point standings without a win would be Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, and then the 2 drivers who are just on the inside of the bubble, Chris Buescher and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch's cushion over Ryan Preece for that final cut spot is only 2 points coming into the day, tomorrow, I should say specifically, coming into this weekend. Chris Buescher is only up 8 points in that next slot above the cutoff line. Alex Bowman within a race worth of points in the Hendrick 48 within that cut line. So pretty good to see Bowman firing off with good speed out of the gate. He only has 1 top 10 at Michigan in his entire run at Hendrick Motorsports. So not a great track for him. The summer tracks, it seems like on a year-to-year basis, tend to be his worst. Nashville was another one of those last week, and Bowman did have a DNF in that one. Decent run for Kyle Busch to get himself above the cut line. He actually moved up 4 points last week, despite not really scoring any stage points and finishing just outside the top 10. I believe he ended up 11th. But he stayed out of trouble, and a lot of drivers around that cut line had trouble. Carson Hocevar up 5 positions in the point standings after last week's second place run, plus all the stage points he scored in the Coke 600 before his engine failure in the 4th and final stage, leads him to now only 4 points below Kyle Busch for that cutoff spot. I don't think it's really any argument that that 77 team is the hottest team in NASCAR of the drivers who are around the bubble for the playoffs. So if they could keep that momentum up through the summer, I think Hocevar should be able to have a good run to get in. If he doesn't win a race, he could be competitive here this weekend as well. We have yet to see him in practice. He'll be in Group 2. Other drivers who are on the bubble in the playoffs that are behind Hocevar would include Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and A.J. Allmendinger. Only 7 points separates 16th through 20th in the standings. Unbelievable, really, that is how tight it is. 15 points separating 15th through 20th in the point standing. So it is very, very, very tight, and that's going to be a fun watch here over the next handful of weeks into the next several months leading up to the playoffs, how that is going to shape up because of how many drivers are just that close to one another. The race for the regular season championship, it might only be between 2 drivers, maybe even 1, with the way Byron has been so fast, so consistent, staying out of incidents. No DNFs this year for William Byron. The only other drivers without a DNF this year would include Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. 5 this year for Ryan Blaney, despite the fact that he is still 7th in points, and again just picked up his first win of the year. On the laps led side of things, William Byron is second to Kyle Larson. Larson with 851 laps led. 670 for Byron. 450 for Denny Hamlin. 338 for Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano rounds out the top 5 on that statistical category, at 302. Most top 10s on the year would be Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell with 10 apiece. Most top 5s on the year is Larson with 8. That's 1 more than his teammate Byron, 2 more than Hamlin and Bell, as well as Blaney. And we already went through the wins. So that is an outlook on how the season has been up to this point through the first 14 races and heading into race 15 at Michigan. I'll pull the practice times back up again, and I'll let you listen back into the Amazon Prime Video booth.
202 miles an hour out of Brad. You can also build some less, mechanical drag, like just getting the steering wheel straighter.
See Brad trying to pick a little bit of throttle up off the turn 2 there. So he's struggling just a little bit with the balance of the car. One thing I see from him is he's not really ever all the way out of the gas. Kind of goes back to about half throttle right there and carries pretty good speed through the middle of the corner. We saw earlier in practice, they were dropping down. Gibbs, who we think is pretty good, dropping down into the high 80s or mid 80s, 180s. Brad's carrying a little more center speed, but not quite as fast on the straightaway, and he's nowhere near the top 10 on the 15 lap average. So be curious to see how that car races tomorrow. It may be built for the grip, for the lack of grip they're going to have. It may be built to be able to get through that corner, and it's suffering speed today when we have all this grip.
SVG right here. We're going to have a lot of conversation. We head down to Mexico City about what this guy can do with the road courses, but I really want to focus on this style of track: Nashville, Charlotte, Kansas, Texas. The last 4, what I consider high-speed ovals. He has run every lap at all 4 of those, on the lead lap at every one. I know that sounds crazy, but it was so foreign to him from anything he's ever done, just high speed ovals. Oh, don't let me see you hit the ball.
almost the announcer.
I know. So I think that's the most important thing, Dale, right? Is he needs to be out here in traffic. We talk about what Brad needs. You just talk about, hey, maybe his car's built for the heat. Shane doesn't know what he needs or doesn't need at this point in his career. So running every lap in those races, I think, only helps him out.
See Shane out of the gas, middle of the corner, never all the way out of the throttle, down to about a 185, 186 in the middle of the corner.
Saw that graphic. 4 of the 12 races, leading to the playoffs on road courses. That's a third. I mean, I'm not great at math, but I can figure that out. And 3 of the next 5. It is the land of opportunity. And I'm also curious, how does the success that Steve talked about on ovals and the speed they found there, how does that carry some confidence into those races where you just expect he's going to run well, and in many cases could be considered the favorite?
I don't feel like what this team is just the overall organization to get better. That's going to help Shane the most.
Bowman leading the way, 7 minutes to go. It's Group 1 practice for Michigan.
Alrighty. So about 7 minutes left in Group 1 practice as of right now. Again, Alex Bowman is the fastest. He's ran only 13 laps. Actually, I got to refresh the page because it's about 10 to 12 minutes behind. 21 laps of practice for Alex Bowman. Most in this group, it looks like Ty Gibbs has ran 27. Few others right around him. 26 for Josh Berry. 24 for Michael McDowell, 25 for John Hunter Nemechek and counting. So a few cars still on the racetrack. Some might get back out there and try to make a quick qualifying prep run as well, even on their older scuffed tires, because you only get one set of tires per practice session with the 25-minute blocks at least. When they do get a full session, usually they get 2 sets of tires or more. As far as Alex Bowman being the top driver, again, Austin Dillon is second, as you see on our screen. Ty Gibbs third. Then Ryan Preece fourth, Noah Gragson fifth, Brad Keselowski sixth, John Hunter Nemechek seventh, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. eighth, Ty Gillett ninth, and Michael McDowell rounding out our top 10. So Group 2 of practice, and then single car qualifying immediately after that. Usually the practice session for the Cup Series will start 3 hours before a truck or Xfinity race on a Saturday, but today only 2.5 hours, with it being an early morning practice session, and with the fact that the Truck Series races early as well at noon Eastern. So I don't think there's going to be as long of a break between practice and qualifying. If there is, though, we'll have a NASCAR trivia quiz on the channel anyway leading into qualifying. Might even do it for the back end of practice as well, considering the fact that I will not be doing a stream tomorrow, so want to be able to do some NASCAR trivia for you guys this week, so we'll do it during the practice and qualifying stream. And I'll wait until they get about midway through Group 2 practice so we know that the leaderboard isn't going to change at all. Obviously, if there's any incidents taking place, I'll let you guys know live as it happens. But that would be the update there, and then hopefully finish that off before qualifying begins. We get into the single car qualifying, which is always fun at Michigan because of just the raw speed that this track holds with these Cup cars.
Have an Xfinity victory in the Irish Hill, second right now in practice. Here's 3 Radio.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Well, if I had a choice between 200 or 2 miles an hour or a cup of coffee, I'm going to take my coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning or 9:30 in the morning.
Maybe 2 cups, actually.
Yeah, it wake up time for these drivers, but you know, pit road, that's kind of an easy coast to pit road there. Which we will expect green flag pit stops. Although Dale, we were out there earlier. You thought this was.
It was fine. I was actually at red. I was a couple blue at the line.
So he's talking about his pit road speed. You thought this was one of the more straightforward ones to kind of get around the corner and get on pit road?
Yeah, I mean there's no real abrupt transition across, off the racetrack onto pit road like we had at Nashville. So, you could really charge that. That gives you a lot of confidence. We may see some drivers speed on that, pit entry because it's so easy to get to pit road here. But for the most part, this is one of the more simpler accesses on pit entry. Kim?
Yeah, as we look at AJ Allmendinger, looking for a little bit more in that car here in practice. But remember, 2 weeks ago, this team finished fourth at Charlotte. that was a great race for them. They brought something similar here in Michigan to what they had 2 weeks ago at Charlotte, but accounted for slight differences here in Michigan, including less bumps. But we talk about the conditions in this practice being slightly different than what we'll see in the race tomorrow. And I love what crew chief Trent Owens told me. He said, yes, practice is early, but everyone is up against the same thing, so you can still very much measure yourself against the other teams. Right now, Marty, AJ reporting just a little tight, no front downforce at all. He's got to put a lot of wheel into it.
Kim, now that Ty Gibbs is north of 100 career Cup Series starts, no question the pressure starting to build on this young man. I don't care what your last name is. Nobody at Joe Gibbs Racing is used to being 27th in the point standings in the second half of the regular season. Ty, though.
Well, JJ Ailey maybe. No, that's so wrong. I'm sorry.
Pace here today as well. Could be a special weekend for Ty Gibbs tomorrow, maybe. Career win number 1, who knows? But Junior, when you look at the long run pace, where does that 54 stack up?
I mean, I think he's the best by far.
Best at 10 lap, best at 15 lap. There you see it right there. And, you know, we've got a lot of really great race cars coming into the second group, but I think this kid right here, we have to be pretty happy with how they unloaded.
You know, and if you're looking for a glass half full, well, not that there's an advantage, but the only positive to 27 in the points is that I think you have to be thinking win, which kind of frees you up.
Narrows up your goals.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of like, hey, we're going to have a good run, or we could be really close on fuel and try to win this race. I would take option B, right? I would rather run out of gas with 1 to go with a chance to win if you're the 54 car, because giving up a few points isn't going to make a big difference. I don't think there's any pathway forward in points.
You're speaking from a crew chief's mind that it would definitely probably be easier on you. You know exactly what the goal is going in. You don't know,
right.
You don't worry about strategy or nothing. It's try to win the race. But the pressure for the driver, I think, is immense.
Shane Van Gisbergen is just stalled out on the racetrack. So as he tries to putt his way back to pit road, we do stay green for the moment. There's only 35 seconds left of this session. I believe he's probably got a flat tire, if I had to guess. Yeah, it looks like the left rear, maybe. He's got the left sides down in the grass right now. Probably because if the car is dragging, he'd rather it drag through the grass. And now the caution for SVG. With about 15 minutes left in the session. So this will end the Group 1 session under yellow. And then Group 2 will get their 25 minutes. Because that 88 is well off the pace. And he is just making his way towards the entrance of pit road right now. Yeah, that left rear is flat. I can see it from the back of the car now. It was hard to tell for sure when he was down in the grass, but I can confirm the left rear is flat. So didn't look like he had any damage on his car, so I don't think he touched anything. I'm not sure if he might have spun, which led to him going low. That left rear tire also could have went flat on the back straightaway. He knew it in advance and immediately pulled down to the bottom of the track as we saw him on camera riding the apron on the inside of 3 and 4. So again, Alex Bowman fastest in this practice session so far. 18 cars still have to hit the track for Group 2 yet, so we'll see how those times mix in. Ty Gibbs does have the fastest 5, 10, and 15 lap averages in this session, but third overall for Gibbs. Austin Dillon second quickest by only 2 1,000ths of a second to Bowman's time. And again, Bowman's fast lap, an average lap speed of 194.984 miles per hour. Wade, the Republic, NASCAR Info and News, welcome into the stream. SVG, big disappointment this year. At the beginning of the year, yes, but these last 2 weeks, he's really picked it up. He finished 15th at Charlotte, which was his best oval finish, and he kept it clean. Finished all 600 miles on the lead lap. Not easy to do. Nonetheless, last week at Nashville, I can't remember where he finished, but he was running 15th to 20th most of the race, which is improvement from where he was for most of the first quarter of the season. We have a couple of road courses coming up with Mexico City next week, Sonoma a couple weeks after that. So look out. I do think SVG is very potent to win with the momentum he has on the oval side of things. And then going into Mexico City, which is completely new for the Cup Series, that should be very well for him. Not to mention Chicago's in a month on 4th of July weekend. This weekend would mark 1 month to that date. So yeah, I think he can get a win and get into the playoffs. And the ovals are getting better. Now, is he going to make it out of the first round of the playoffs? Probably not. But if he stays out of trouble, and clicks off top 15s like he did at Charlotte in the first round, all it takes is 4 drivers to DNF and you finish the races top 15. You can get out of the first round of the playoffs, even with a lack of playoff points. And he'll probably actually have more playoff points than several drivers because if he can get a win and get some stage wins on these road courses, he can rack those up and might be around double digits. Did I see the Earnhardt documentary yet? I watched the first episode the night after the Coke 600. I haven't gone back to watch any since, but I definitely will at some point when I give myself the time to do so. Jojo, welcome to the stream. Just woke up. Yeah, it's early. 9:30 a.m. Definitely the earliest stream we've had this year. There were a few practice and qualifying streams last year that started about 9:30 in the morning. Outside of the 24 hours, but technically I started that in the afternoon. But we were streaming through the early morning, obviously. I can't wait to do that again. It was exhausting. At the end of it, I wasn't regretting doing it because we had a good turnout for it, and I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and it was fun. It was worth the experience. But I'm glad that it wasn't within the couple months after that because I wouldn't have wanted to do it again. But a once a year kind of deal, I think that might be how we kick off the live commentary season every year. Especially no speed weeks going on at Daytona anymore. I mean, we have speed week, but not like it used to be back in the day. So there isn't as much for me to cover. Jojo, thanks for tuning in. Like I mentioned already, how long is the drive to Michigan? Oh, I only got like just over an hour. Yeah, I'm leaving in the morning. Got 8 people in the family going. We usually tailgate. Aunts, uncles, cousins, mom, dad. My sister can't go this year. She's got to work this weekend. My grandpa will be there. Yeah, we'll have the whole family. Yeah, so I don't have to rush out of here after the truck race like I did with Talladega earlier this season when I had a 10-hour drive. Getting to watch the Cubs and Tigers this afternoon. That's cool. I almost went to the game last night with it being fireworks night. I kind of wanted to go. Long story short, I am kind of tight on funds this weekend because my my work check. Long story short, my bank was switching over. They were merging with another bank, so it changed my routing number, which that I didn't catch until the last paycheck. And that wasn't an issue. The check still went through, but I went on to my account at work to change my banking info, and I missed a number. I just missed 2 numbers in the routing number for some reason, and only had 7 digits on there. I'm surprised it let me submit it still. So then my check didn't go through yesterday. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. So I was like on the phone with the HR services at my place and then having to go and call the bank and do that back and forth throughout the day. And they're like, well, we haven't seen anything yet. And then my work was like, well, we did send it out. And I was verifying the info, but it would only show the last 4 digits on my account number. So it looked like everything was okay. And then apparently it wasn't. So yeah, so I don't think I'll be getting any diecast this weekend, unfortunately. That kind of sucks, man. I was excited to get a couple more this weekend, but I know I'm probably not. I can't. Not going to be getting my check in the mail. Apparently, they're supposed to mail it to me. They said it'd be here by Tuesday, but I also got to work Tuesday, so I'm probably not going to be able to get to the bank until Wednesday, and then I'm going to have to rush there because it closes a half hour after I get off of work. It's a good 20-minute drive to the closest one to where I work, so it's a whole ordeal. Yeah, I get paid bi-weekly. Ryan Berwick, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Michigan usually does pretty good with their tent vendors too. The amount of stuff that they have. I mean, maybe I'll still look, maybe I could find a $10 one or something that I really like. Pains me not to add to the collection when I'm there. best record in baseball. I've seen 2 games already this year. I'll definitely be seeing more before the end of the year. Got to take the advantage while I'm still living up here. Planned on trying to make sure I was going to go to quite a few games this season just because of moving in the fall. Not going to have the ability to go to too many more down the road. Traveling, back here from time to time throughout the course of the year. So, maybe I could catch like a game a season, but I could be able to catch multiple games a year anymore. 10-hour drive is the max limit. Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought too, was like 10 to 12, but then I took the trip to Talladega, and I have driven to Daytona before, but my limit is 10 to 12 if it's a weekend getaway. That would be my limit. But if I'm staying somewhere for, a week or more, like I was down in Texas following the Dega trip, and same thing with Daytona when I went there for the 500 a few years ago. I was there for the entire speed week. In the instance of that, that is when I would drive longer, because I do like driving. I like my car. I like driving. I like seeing different areas of the country I haven't been to before. Philadelphia to Indy's about 10 hours. Probably doesn't help that you're going through like a bunch of plainy areas too, so generic wise, driving through Ohio and stuff. I mean, there's some mountains in southern Ohio. You probably drove through the Appalachians the route you went. Fatal Phantom, thanks for tuning in. Why am I not at the track? I will be there tomorrow. If I was going to get there for practice and qualifying today, I probably would have had to leave before 7 o'clock in the morning just to get there early and stuff, and there's no way I was doing that. So I'm here. And I don't want to drive there and then drive over an hour to get back home. I'm not going to stay in a hotel close by when I'm only an hour away from my home. Replaying the Corey LaJoy flip on the broadcast. Of course, LaJoy a part of the pre-race on the Amazon Prime schedule. It was announced earlier this week also that Corey LaJoy is going to be running a dozen truck races before the end of the season for Spire Motorsports. Seen him on the super speedways and drafting style ovals for the Cup Series races as well there. Been driving the 01 for Rick Ware Racing a couple times already this year. We'll probably see him there for a few more weeks as well. Leave the day before the race. Saves money. Well, I mean, not really if you're spending an extra day in a hotel. I could have left yesterday too, but I'm not staying an hour from my house at a hotel. Like that just seems goofy, honestly. Especially when they jack the hotel rates up for, race weekends. I've been to so many tracks in the last handful of years now, and to get a decent hotel, I know I'd be paying quite a bit. It's not even logical to do that. So yeah, I'll just be there for tomorrow for the race. Most weekends, because I do a weekend getaway to save time, and I do like streaming too. Most of the races I go to are Cup exclusive, but I know when I go to Bristol this year, I'll probably be there the whole weekend. Well, we'll see. Friday, Saturday for sure. I'll probably drive down on Thursday, but I may be streaming Thursday still from wherever I'm staying. Do the ARCA and truck double at Bristol, and then go to the track for Xfinity and Cup. I haven't decided yet. Obviously, I'll let you know when we get closer to that date. Cars are on the racetrack again after the hold between Group 1 and Group 2. So as Group 2 begins their portion of practice, I'll let you listen into the Prime Video broadcast. Then we'll take a look at the updated leaderboard when the new times come in. And then after the new times place, we'll do some NASCAR trivia because I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. So with no pre-race tomorrow, this will be our only chance to be able to do NASCAR Sporkle this weekend.
Turn 1.
It's going to be nearly wide open on brand new tires. I don't think Blaney's going to have to build up to it. You see a little.
I'll be
puff of
back. I
smoke
got to
out
get
the
my
back.
charger
That's
for my
that
phone.
diffuser, the back of the diffuser touching the racetrack. It's a smooth racetrack. So if that happens, that tells me they got the back of this car pretty low.
And his exit speed was a little down off of turn 2, but starting to build that confidence. He's trying to build the throttle. He's just trying to build that confidence. Not sure exactly how hard he can lean on this car and laterally load the right side tires through the center of the corner. Let's see what he does down here in turn 1 and 2. Just right at 200 mile an hour. Need to go back to gas, full throttle right there. Just a little patient on throttle. Still kind of figuring this car out.
And it was like lap 4. Yes, fast lap on everybody in the first session. Briscoe, top of the board. So lap 2 in this session, I thought that the track was going to lose a little grip, and he's fastest by almost a tenth of a second.
It's just a great pedal just a little bit there. Kim?
And we saw that left side tire going down for SVG at the end of Group 1's practice. I checked that tire. It was broken all along the seam. No cuts apparent. So likely a tire pressure issue for that. And there's been directive for his Trackhouse teammates, Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez, during the beginning laps of this practice. Ross being told on their first lap, please intentionally take it slow. Shoot for a second off the pace. They told Suarez we add no pressure to the tires. So he asked, you don't want me to push it? They said, do what the tires feel like they can take. So a little bit gingerly here in the opening laps of practice for those Trackhouse teammates.
And you watch both of them right there. 99 and the one of Chastain. Going through the corner. Chastain a little bit wide off of 4 there.
So now think about that mindset, Adam. You know, we just talked about 201 miles an hour. We saw Corey flipping down the backstretch here last year. And now these drivers realize there is this potential limit to the back of the car, yet they still roll off in there at 200 miles an hour like everything's going to be okay. That's the thing that has surprised me most. The biggest compliment I can tell race car drivers, you guys aren't normal, right? There is something inherently different and courageous about what they do that we truly take for granted. So, Kuchi, if I knew, I took it for granted. I've done my job. You go do yours like they were the same. They were definitely not the same job.
Ross kind of stuck right here behind his teammate early in practice when the tires really can't run those really solid laps. So it's going to cut a little bit of lap time just for a little bit of performance off his race car and out of this practice. His laps and his averages and all those things are going to suffer just suddenly because he's back here in traffic. And you see another car joining this group. Looks like Busher back there in the 17. Also, you know, your team will have to account, all right, well, we were in traffic those first handful of laps. Our car's a little bit better than that. Busher's second on the board.
And he towed up. So,
Yep.
so what I mean by that is now he's going to go slower in traffic, but from a second and a half back, he started to get a draft on these two, and he towed up to it. If you work with your teammate, you can actually run faster like this. Push each other down the straightaway, offset in the corner, push each other down the straightaway. You can find overall speed.
Looks like this one car, though, is struggling just a little bit. So how does Busher work to try to get around? It's going to fade a little bit lower through 1 and 2. It's just going to be so hard, at least at this particular time of day with so much grip and speed, to be able to even get up beside somebody and make the pass. He's going to drive down into turn 3. Just can't quite get there.
I almost think he starts to push Chastain away a little bit. Yeah, like if you get in line right off corner exit, and that air bubble exists even here, and you kind of start helping that guy. I mean, their top speed right now, I would say Busher is running a higher top speed with a slower lap time because he's slower right here in the middle of the corner, making it up straight away.
Ross saw him out of the corner of his eye and said, all right, I'll let you hit up. Yep.
Now he's got to get a toe on the 99, right? So this should be a pretty good top speed down the front stretch here. If he can get a clean 3 and 4, he's about 15, 20 car lengths back from this car in front of you. He is definitely going to get help. So we saw 202, and he did not have good mid-corner speed. So we'll see if it can recover just with that draft. I think we're still going to see well over 200. Yeah.
Climb right up.
Yeah, watch this. Yeah, 203.
How about it?
Yeah, that's all draft right there.
I remember back in
Busher second on the
2018
board,
when
you
they were
talked
going.
about 3 all.
2015 actually.
As we check in on the 77.
2015 they were going like 218.
Fresh off a runner-up finish, matching his career best at Nashville. There's all the talk about he and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They got together. Hocevar was able to put that behind him, drive on, and have a great finish and put himself right in the mix when you talk about making the playoffs on points?
So I've read a lot of quotes. I saw a host of the media center talking about it, and I'm trying to digest it all. And basically, what I've come up with, my opinion is, he's doesn't want to have to talk about it, and that's probably what he's most disappointed in. That he's done something that's taken away the effort to try to be the fastest car they could be. But I haven't really heard him. Man, I'm sorry. I won't do it again, and that could be a positive for me. Like, the last thing you want to do is to take whatever the magic is out of this guy's right foot that makes him so fast. See, I keep hearing Jeff Dickerson, the owner of Spire, referenced a lot, which tells me that Jeff, he is a mastermind at this. He is totally plugged in with this young driver, making sure he stays the version that Spire and Jeff Dickerson want him to be.
I feel like it's, Hocevar spent this week going to Berlin and racing super late model winning.
Yeah,
I don't think he was really, going to his therapist trying to figure out, what is therapy, what I need to be doing. This guy explained he was too worried about, all of the noise. He was this far away from it, actually, doing things like this. This is probably the best thing that he could have been doing during this week. To not be in that, that sort of industry noise in and around, the Mooresville, Charlotte area all week long. So, I don't know that he's all that bothered. I agree. Or really that concerned about, what everyone thinks. He's sitting here looking at the last couple of weeks going, hey, everything's going in the right direction. I'm not chasing a thing.
Man, I obviously never drove, but I feel like from a psychology standpoint, if he was bothered by it, he wouldn't have been able to drive through the field and finish second in that race and nearly win it last week.
Sure.
He was able to put it right behind him. What do you see here, Steve?
Well, he lifted into one very, very odd spot to get out of gas. I don't know if he was looking for a position on the racetrack, or if maybe he doesn't like something in the back of this car. Where back to what Kim was saying about the rear tires. And this isn't a hot entry to pit road, so Kim will go do a little research on this, I'm sure, find out what the 77's saying. It just seems like a really odd entry for the 77. Kim, you hear anything?
Yeah, he was complaining about the car, said he couldn't carry any more throttle. It was snug to begin with, but then just rear grip went away.
All right, so just with the content out of my corner of my eye, you see laugh so much in your life when somebody lifts down the front stretch, it doesn't make sense. I wanted to see what it was. Great update by Kim.
7 of the top 10 in practice in Group 2. The Killer Bees at the top. Briscoe, Busher, Bell, and Bowman.
Yeah, that Echo Park Automotive name change. I mentioned, or I should say I should mention, but JoJo in the chat mentioned something about track stadiums, sporting venues and stuff, local landmarks, or local sponsors were the sponsor for the state, or not the state, for the venue. Can't talk. Not these corporate sponsors. The only reason that that's changed is because the corporate sponsors have millions of dollars that they can literally, plug into sponsorship that local businesses don't have the flexibility in their budget to be able to spend millions of dollars, let alone if they have millions of dollars to be able to put on the side of their business. So they're trying to grow their business local within that city and that region, not so much worldwide or nationwide like these bigger corporate sponsors. So that's why that's changed. I understand the business model side of it. I just find it kind of weird how, we have this new name now. We have to call it, for instance, with Atlanta now, Echo Park Speedway, which I will during the live commentary stream, but it's Echo Park Speedway at Atlanta because you still have to verify this is Atlanta. Yeah. Going to be interesting to see how they kind of publish the lead up to Atlanta to get more eyes to watch that race, knowing it's a drafting style racetrack now, and it has been doing better for the viewership side of things for the casual fans. Because they're not going to know what Echo Park Speedway is. They might think it's another race at Coda or something and not, a pack race like they're probably wanting to watch. Yeah, ISM Speedway, that was another one. I forgot that existed. That was only a few years. It wasn't that long ago, too. Yeah, there's been some over the years for sure. All right, we'll highlight the practice leaderboard since that has changed now. Chase Briscoe is the top of the speed charts. 13 laps ran for him. His lap time was a 36.832, his fastest one that is in this second group. Fastest in Group 1 was Alex Bowman. He's 4th overall. But Briscoe in the lead. Chris Buescher second. Christopher Bell third, and then you got to Bowman in fourth. Austin Dillon, who was in Group 1, is fifth. William Byron sixth. Denny Hamlin seventh. Tyler Reddick eighth. Carson Hocevar ninth. And Ty Gibbs rounds out the top 10. 11th for Austin Cindric. Ryan Preece 12th. Noah Gragson 13th. 14th for Kyle Larson. Chase Briscoe 15th. 16th for Ed Keselowski. Zane Smith 17th. John Nemechek 18th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 19th. Ty Gillen 20th. Michael McDowell 21st. AJ Allmendinger 22nd. Bubba Wallace 23rd. 24th for Ross Chastain. Cole Custer 25th. Ryan Blaney 26th, who is parked on the track momentarily. Joey Logano 27, 28th for Josh Berry, Eric Jones 29th, Daniel Suarez 30th, Shane Van Gisbergen 31st, Kyle Busch 32nd, Ty Dillon 33rd, 34th for Riley Herbst, Cody Ware 35th, and 36th, Justin Haley. Flat tire for Ryan Blaney, the cause of our current caution. Our second yellow that we've seen at practice. Shane Van Gisbergen in Group 1 had a left rear tire flat. Going into turn 3, was able to nurse the car around too far to get around the track for Ryan Blaney. His tire went flat in turn 1. Luckily for both drivers, their cars aren't severely damaged enough going into qualifying. They'll be able to qualify and not have to worry about a crash car and go into a backup for the race tomorrow. So Ryan Blaney got to get the tow back into the pits, and it looked like the left rear was up. I think it was the left front that was flat potentially on the 12. I didn't get a good glimpse of the replay because I was reading off the leaderboard. I would assume that whatever time is lost for this caution for Group 2 that they will add back on. NASCAR has been doing that really since we've had these shortened practice sessions, so that way when there is a yellow during the course of the session, you don't lose half of your practice for the allotted time, and where the other group could go green and get more time and have at least a balanced amount of lap time. It still hurts on the data side of things because if you're looking to make a consecutive long run, now you can't do that because of this session has been limited. You can't throw fresh tires back out there and try to make more lap time with a different setup. The setup changes that are made are with this tire because you only get one set. All right, so on to the NASCAR Sporkle trivia side of things. If anything else happens in practice, I'll let you know. And the reason why we're doing this is, again, because there will be no stream tomorrow. And once more, there will be no stream because I'll be at the race for the Cup Series. But we will still be streaming qualifying on this stream, and we will have the truck race at noon Eastern on the channel as well. There will be race highlight videos that will be uploaded to the channel from the grandstands tomorrow at some point after the race. So today's quiz, top 10 Michigan finishes, and this only goes up to 2017, but this is for the, actually I didn't want to, I'm not going to do this because it only goes to 2017. I was only at one of those races that are on there. I was hoping it would have more. June race probably does the same thing. Let's see what other Michigan NASCAR quizzes they have. All right. How many are on the laps led? We'll do laps led at Michigan then. Anyone who has ever led a lap at Michigan International Speedway. And this was also last updated in 2017. Well, that's unfortunate. This is the one we'll settle on. 20 minutes, 151. We'll see how we can do. You can play along in the chat. I'll look, as usual, to see what your guys' answers are. Patrick Shadley, thanks for tuning in. Mike G, welcome to the stream as well. Oh, yeah, Michigan's awesome. Just pure speed. But yeah, it was last updated in 2017. So from 2017 and before, every Cup race at Michigan, whoever has led a lap, 20 minutes, 151 names. We're going to name off some winners first. Jimmy Johnson, former winner. Mark Martin, former winner. Biffle, he's probably led a lot. Who else has won at Michigan? Harvick, of course. Harvick. Blaney, although Yeah, Ryan's on here. Larson. Logano. Hamlin. Bush. I'm just thinking of guys who have won at Michigan first. Stewart. Casey Kane. Earnhardt. Junior, senior. I got Dave Blaney, by the way, on the Ryan Blaney pick. Reddick won last year, but yeah, it only goes up to 2017, so that's why he's not on the list. Newman won here before, I think. Yeah, Petty, Pearson, Old Trip. Any other guys for my lifetime that have won? Oh, Kenseth, duh. Is that race he won? Boyer. Saw him win there. No, Brian Vickers didn't win, but he always had some good runs at Michigan. 95 laps led. And Jeff Gordon. Horse. Sterling Marlin had some good runs in the early 2000s there. He got Cuckoo Marlin with the Sterling Marlin. Bill Elliott, yep, former winner here. He's just fast on the big ovals back in the day. Ernie Irvin has won here before. All right. Allison, and Donnie, Davey, Bobby, Yarborough. Cale Yarborough, all-time lap leader. Lap lead leader. I got Petty already. Which would have been Kyle and... Oh, yeah, I didn't get Truex. Truex is on here. I think, I feel like I've gotten everybody who's won here in my lifetime. Dale Jarrett. All right. So anybody else who's led a lap then? Start rattling off names. Derek Cope on here. 1 lap. There we go. Steve Park's probably on here. Oh, he's not. Okay, never mind. Stremme. Under caution, maybe. Sorensen. Maybe green flag pit stops. There we go. 3-1. McMurray. Spencer. Just naming Ganassi guys. Montoya. Mears. Ambrose. Eric Jones. Then we got Buckshot Jones led a lap here as well. It's too early for him. Allmendinger? The Dinger. AJ's led 1. Hornish, 16. Danica lead here? Yes, she did. 2 laps. Almirola? Yep. Regan Smith, 1 lap. Quapple, lap led. Scott Speed, 13. Oh, Lake Speed. Sorry, that was Lake Speed. Rusty Wallace, yeah, he's up towards the top of the list. For sure. Nemechek. Keselowski. What? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Oh my gosh. I was going to say 180. 180 for Keselowski. Dylan had some good runs here. Austin. And he looks fast this weekend, too. What about Chris Buescher? No. He's a former winner here. I didn't put him yet, but he wasn't driving for RFK yet at this point. Same for Race. Briscoe. I'm putting these names just in case, but I know that they're It looks like it was last updated in 2017. Anyone who has ever led a lap, Steve Grisham. Did I spelled that wrong? I don't think I did. No, I spelled it right. Okay, he's not on here. Ted Musgrave. Mike Skinner. Jack Sprague. Let's just name some truck champions while we're at it. No, Sprague's not on here. Mike Bliss. Okay. Hornaday. Ron Hornaday led 3. Bodine. Gotta get Jeff on there. The Bakers. Of course, Buddy Baker. Buddy is the only Baker on here, though. Yeah. Michigan hasn't been around that long. So Fireball Roberts wasn't on here. Weatherly's not going to be on here. Yeah, okay, so I did spell Grissom right. Chastain, maybe. Nope. Bowman, maybe. Nope. Byron, probably not. Just because it doesn't go back that far. Suarez is on here. Okay, because it does go to 2017. That was his rookie season. Suarez is on the list. Stenhouse is not on the list. Trevor Bain. Bain's on the list. Reagan. McDowell. There we go. Rudiman. Rudiman's on here. See if anybody in the chat. Chad Little, Rick Mast. Thank you, Little Mast. I didn't circle around to the Burtons yet. Just looking at the chat to see if you guys have named somebody I haven't. I doubt Cody Ware's on here. Yeah. It's been racing that long. For 2017. Uh Oh, I tried Carpentier. Oh, Riggs. Scott Riggs. Scott Wimmer. Okay. Go. Is there any more active drivers that could be on there? I have it named. Gilliland. It's going to be David Gilliland, not Todd. Sadler. Hermie Sadler, Elliott Sadler, both on the list. Bialy. There we go. Allgaier? Nope. Annette? Nope. Oh, Tyler Reddick, by the way, flat tire. Flat left rear for Tyler Reddick in practice. Dave Marcus, yes. No, Marcus is not on here. It's too early. Johnny Benson probably is. Yep. No. Ricky Craven. Ricky Craven's on here. Schrader's definitely on here. Tyler Reddick is stalled on the racetrack, so caution's out. 9 minutes left in Group 2 practice. Flat left rear tire. By the way, for anybody still wondering on that side of things, because there is a practice session ongoing. Looks like he stalled in turns 3 and 4. They're cutting the commercial. I do have Biffle already. Redneck Biffle, thanks for tuning in. Road to 500. Willie Ellis, thanks for playing along. I do have the Biff, of course. Yeah, I named pretty much every former winner that I can think of at Michigan. Anybody who has ever led a lap at Michigan again is our quiz right now. Jeremy Mayfield. He's on here. 94. There's still guys who have led quite a few laps I haven't named yet. Harry Gant's led quite a few. He might be a former winner too. Off the top of my head, I don't know. JTH, thanks for tuning in. I think we put Mayfield at the same time. I didn't see your comment in the chat. Tony Raines? Ah, let's go. Jeff Green. Bill Green, I don't know who that is. He led a lap. Oh, I didn't put the Labanis yet. Yeah, oh geez. Oh geez. Good catch. I tried Stenhouse. He's not on here. Casey Atwood? No. Kenny Irwin? No. Huh. Ricky Rudd is definitely on here. Yep. Rudd is on here. Leroy Yarborough, I did not put yet. There we go. LaJoy? No. It's Bush exclusive. I was thinking maybe Randy. Jason Lepler? Oh, dang it. Thought I had a sneaky pick in there. I do have McDowell, Montoya. I think I put Ambrose already. Put more road ringers in there just in case. It's like Reddick is driving his car back to pit road, which is kind of surprising. Left ear was going flat middle of the back straightaway, so he was able to catch it just like Blaney and SVG did in their session. Tracy Leslie. If I could spell. No, Leslie's not on here. That would have been a deep pull. Trickle. Boom. 7 laps. Dick Trickle. Let's see, Gersom. Who else do I usually forget? I do have Vickers. I'm getting stumped already. We got 92 of 151. There's definitely a lot of others that we got 6.5 minutes yet here. Busher was not on here because the list is only updated to 2017, even though he's a former Michigan winner. That's why I feel like I got all the active drivers. I saw somebody mention Briscoe in the chat earlier too, but he wasn't racing at that time. Not in Cup. My brain's on autopilot right now. There's definitely some big names on here I haven't named yet. Rocket Man Newman, yep, I got Newman. I think I pretty much got anybody who ever drove for Penske, because I got, wait, Gone. Brendan Gone. 15, there we go. Okay, now I think I've gotten everybody who's ever ran for Penske. That one slipped by me. Just trying to go by, like, these teams. You know, is there anybody at JGR over the years I missed? I don't think so. Oh, Edwards! Oh! Oh, I didn't have Carl Edwards yet. See, I'm glad I was circling around to that. That would have been terrible if I missed that. Cheating off the diecast. I think I got him. Oh, I don't have Sauter. Oh, he's not on here. It didn't matter. Dang it. Johnny Sauter not on the list. Bobby Hamilton has to be on here. John Andretti is on here. Okay. Got 97. I got Harry Gann already. Oh, I didn't put Alan Coolwicki. Got to spell. Cool Wiki. There we go. 82 laps for Alan. Parker Kligerman? Is it 1G? No, it's not on here. Landon Castle. Haha, 1 lap for Landon Castle. Let's go. Oh, jeez. Cole Witt. Is he on here? Oh, Brett Moffitt. I'm trying. Stephen Light. Nope. Just trying to think of anybody at this point. Anybody who has ever led a lap at Michigan. Marty Robbins. Nope. I don't think the track goes that far back. Charlie Glotzback might be on here. That's a good one. In the chat. Glotzback. There we go. Oh, yeah, he's definitely on here. 137. I tried Musgrave already. He's not on here. Or maybe he was. No, I don't think he was on here. I definitely tried him, though. Loy Allen. That just popped in my head randomly. Got him. 7 laps. It's like the big ovals back in the day, they would qualify well, so. I'm trying to think of guys who have. I'm pretty sure I put. Okay, yeah, I put Austin already. Maybe I might have skipped over Austin Dillon, but I did not. I got about 3 minutes left. 101 of 151. There's 3 drivers who have led over 100 laps. There's one that's led 309 I don't have yet. I do have Hornish already. Oh, I don't have Parsons. Oh my goodness. There's the 309, Benny Parsons. Woo! Okay. Now 148, 102. Paul Menard. 19. There we go. Wood? No. Morgan Shepherd, yes. Who else is driven for the Wood brothers that I maybe haven't put yet? Got Ricky Rudd. Tried John Wood already. Got Trevor Bain. I do have Edwards. McMurray, Reagan, I've got both of them. Man. AJ Foyt? Oh, let's go. 69. Nice. I was going to say he always ran the bigger ovals back in the day, or tracks that Open Wheel would have raced at. Marcus Villarreal, thanks for tuning in. Take a belt for the win tomorrow. Good pick. Sadler, let's see here. I don't know. I've got Baker. Yeah, Buddy Baker's on here. We've definitely got all the big names, I'm pretty sure. Big names in the history of the sport of NASCAR. I do have Jimmy Spencer. I'm stumped. There's quite a few guys who have only led 1 lap. A lot of back markers are going to show up on here. I do have Eric Jones already. Well, let's see. 105 of 151. We got the average score, 70%. Oh, Dave Marcus is on. I think I spelled it wrong. Oh, my gosh. I had Dave Marcus, but I spelled it wrong. Neil Bonnet. I feel like I forget about him on these lists a lot. Feel bad for that. Bobby Isaac. Hut Strickland. I always forget him on these kinds of lists. I didn't circle around to Tim Richmond yet. I thought I got all the Hendrick drivers. I did not. David Sisko, 45 laps led. Joe Frazon. Frazon? I don't think I would have ever circled around to him. Paul Goldsmith, Wally Dallenbach, 7. Earl Ross. I wouldn't have had that. Johnny Rutherford, okay. That's a name I haven't seen on one of these lists in a long while, if ever at all. Robert Presley. I was going through truck guys, and I skipped him. Bobby Hillin Jr., James Hilton, Joe Milliken, Kevin LePage, JD McDuffie, Joe Ruttman. I forget about Ruttman on these lists all the time. Greg Sachs. Richie Panch. See, I would have, when we circle around to like Marvin Panch, I knew this was before his time. So I didn't put him for that reason. But Richie Panch would have actually gotten me a name. Must be a relative. Has to be. Andy Lally, 3 laps. Wow. See, I thought he was more of a road course guy, so I wouldn't have expected that. I didn't even think he would have ran at Michigan. Stacy Compton, Dick Brooks. Richard Childress is on here. He led 3 laps at... Go figure, Richard Childress led 3 laps in his career at Michigan. Friday Hassler, let's go. I haven't seen that name in a minute on here. Buddy Arrington, Fred Lorenzen, Ron Bouchard. Yeah, there's some open wheel guys. Tommy Gale. You got Jody Ridley, Ronnie Thomas. I don't know who Ronnie Thomas is. DK Ulrich. I have no clue who that is. Walter Ballard, Ed Hesser. These are all guys who only led 1 laps. Richard Brickhouse is on here. He won the first ever Talladega race. John Sears, Henley Gray. I don't know who that guy is. Ed Negre. I don't know who that is. Jackie Rogers. Can't say I can have a face to that name. Walter Ballard. Sam Summers. Dennis DeVee. Don't know. Christian Fittipaldi's on here. Wow. I haven't heard that name in him since NASCAR Thunder 2004. Josh Wise has 1 lap. Okay. I didn't get to him. I was in that era of backmarker drivers, but I didn't get Josh Wise. Butch Miller, Jimmy Means. Yeah, there's at least a half a dozen names on here I've never heard. So this would have been impossible to get 100% even if it was unlimited time. All right. There's our quiz for the week because no stream tomorrow, so that's why we did our Sporkle NASCAR quiz towards the end of practice. Didn't miss any of the action. The only thing that we missed live as it happened was Reddick having the tire issue, but I mentioned over the course of streaming that quiz what had happened to Tyler Reddick. So flat left rear tire for him. Ryan Blaney had a flat. Not AJ Allmendinger. SVG all had flat tires in their practice sessions that warranted yellows. No wrecks, so that's good. They all went flat on the straightaway or the end of a straightaway, so they were able to catch it before getting into the corner. So all those cars should be able to participate in qualifying. Chase Briscoe is the fastest in practice. First overall with a fast lap time of a 36.832 and an average lap speed of 195.482 miles per hour. You're not going to see any faster anywhere else in the Cup Series circuit. They did end up running more laps, but I don't want to refresh the page and lose our practice time. So Chris Buescher, 2nd overall. Christopher Bell, 3rd. 4th for Alex Bowman. Austin Dillon rounds out the top 5. Bowman, by the way, was fastest of the Group 1 drivers. So those top 3 were all Group 2. William Byron from Group 2 was 6th overall. Denny Hamlin, 7th. Tyler Reddick, 8th. Carson Hocevar, 9th. Ty Gibbs, 10th. Austin Cindric, 11th. Ryan Preece, 12th. Noah Gragson, 13th. Kyle Larson, 14th. And Chase Elliott, 15th. Brad Keselowski, 16th. Zane Smith, 17th. John Hunter Nemechek, 18th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 19th. And Todd Gilliland, 20th. Michael McDowell, 21st. AJ Allmendinger, 22nd. Bubba Walls, 23rd. Ross Chastain, 24th. Cole Custer, 25th. Ryan Blaney, 26th. Joey Logano, 27th. Josh Berry, 28th. Eric Jones, 29th. And Daniel Suarez, 30th. Shane Van Gisbergen, 31st. Kyle Busch, 32nd. That's crazy. Busch is 32nd. Austin Dillon's top 5. Ty Dillon, 33rd. Riley Hurst, 34th. Cody Ware, 35th. And Justin Haley, 36th. Surprised that there's a Spire Chevy in last. The speed that they've had, especially on intermediate tracks this season. Michigan's just maybe a little too much speed for them. So again, Chase Briscoe, fastest overall. Now I'll refresh the page so we can look at the lap averages. Qualifying is set to begin here as Noah Gragson hits the racetrack. We'll finish going through the practice stats first. Lap average chart. Christopher Bell had the fastest 5-lap average. And then Ty Gibbs had the fastest 10, 15, 20, and 25 lap average, though he was the only driver that made a 15, 20, or 25 plus lap run in that session. One of few, at least. Shouldn't say the only driver. Just got to select on the category. There's quite a few, actually, that ran 15. Not as many in 20, maybe 10, 12 drivers ran 20, and only 3 ran 25 laps. There were 2 cautions in Group 2, so that really split everything up there. So most of the 20-lap averages and beyond would have been from Group 1. All right, so as I mentioned already, qualifying is just beginning. Noah Gragson is the first car out on the racetrack. After Gragson will be Cody Ware, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Haley, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, SVG, and Riley Herbst. Those are our first 9 drivers who will make a qualifying lap today. JTH, thanks for tuning in. If I didn't shout you out yet as well, Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. Mad Steve, Solomon Lee, and others who were helping along in our quiz portion of the stream, wrapping up practice. But now into qualifying. Gragson going down to the apron through the tri-oval to finish his lap, 37.125 for Gragson, average speed of 193.939 miles per hour. A lot of 9s, a lot of 3s in there. But that is how we get qualifying started off. I got to pull my stat sheet up so that way I can give you guys the stats per driver in our qualifying order. Gragson finished 12th a season ago at Michigan. He'll be making his 3rd start at the track this weekend. Cody Ware is now wrapping up his qualifying lap. And this will be the 5th start for Cody Ware at Michigan. And last year he finished 21st, which is the best of the previous 4. 37.125 for Gragson, 37.406 for Cody Ware, a few tenths off of Gregson's lap. Ryan Priest standing with Marty Snyder at the end of pit road.
Michigan, where does this track rank on the schedule?
About as high as you're going to get. 202, that's wild, man. But honestly, this Castrol Ford Mustang's solid, so I feel like, judging on what I've seen, you're going to be wide open. And going 200 plus into the corner doing that, boy, that's something. This is, I'm pumped about it.
The boss man, Brad Kozlowski, can't get a win as a driver. I'm sure he'll take one as an owner, Adam.
Well, he got one with Chris Buescher a couple years ago, so we shall see if he gets another one here this weekend. Buescher's got back-to-back top 5s at Michigan, and he was pretty quick in practice, 2nd overall. He should be one of the favorites for the win this week. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the racetrack as a Michigan best 8th in the June race of 2017. That is his only top 10 of his Michigan career in 20 starts. Coming off a DNF a week ago and a last place finish at Nashville, which is the reason he is qualifying in the early portion of this qualifying order. Probably going to have to start deep in the field because of that. 2nd out of our first 3 qualifiers for Ricky, 37.137. Now up is Justin Haley, who was lacking speed in practice. He was last of 36 cars overall. As for Justin Haley, his best Michigan finish, 17th in 2022, will be making his 5th start at MIS tomorrow. Christopher Bell is standing with the Amazon Prime crew down on pit road.
Really fast race cars. I was disappointed whenever I read that stat that I have no top 10s here. Sorry.
Yeah.
We've performed really well. I've crashed a lot, unfortunately. It's easy to crash here, especially with this new car. But it's just been a ton of fun. I love this racetrack. Hopefully this weekend's the weekend we break that streak.
So you said crashes, confidence, fun. All these things are
That's all that for never. And you would think that I didn't like this place, but every time we come here, it's just it's a blast. I mean, it's the fastest track on the schedule, and it's just all about commitment, and I love that.
And we talk. How's that feel to you? Is this place? What's it feel like in the middle of?
Carl, I want to know what it was like doing like 220 getting into turn one.
I don't think I ever went 220, but I know this is my for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these things, they have a lot of grip, and the faster you go, whenever you're under the tire, you come to a place like this, you're just smashed in the racetrack. They have a lot of grip. But so lap one, I felt really good, and I tried to hold my foot down for lap two, and things started coming out. I'm like, oh, baby, gotta get back out of it.
Well, you've said it a couple times, and I think this car measures confidence really well. Just how confident you can be. Heavy wheel, the rear underneath of you. What was the trend of that 20 car in practice?
So with this intermediate package, the Toyotas have had a really bad problem of going loose with laps. And it seems like as we lose pace, I don't know what it is. I'm not smart enough to say, but it feels like the back of the car comes up and you just lose that diffuser grip and you start getting loose. But today I honestly got a little bit tight. So hopefully that's a good sign for what's to come tomorrow.
Really fast in that 20 car. And reminder, AA, Christopher Bell, the only driver to win 3 straight races in the next gen car, happened just a few months ago, earlier this season.
Yeah, he's been impressive and want to.
In the midst of that Christopher Bell interview, Alex Bowman starting his qualifying lap. Before him was Ty Gibbs, who was one of the quickest cars in practice, put down the quickest time of 5 in qualifying. Gibbs has 3 finishes of 11th or better in his 3 starts at MIS, a third a season ago, and a top 10 in his rookie year. So good track for Gibbs, good speed this weekend. We'll see what he can do in the 54 machine. As for Alex Bowman, his best finish at Michigan is 9th back in 2022. It's the only top 10 he's had in the last 6 starts here. Bowman rounds up his qualifying lap. He too was also fairly quick in Group 1 practice. He was the fastest overall in Group 1. Second fastest of our first 6 qualifiers, though, 36.977. Gibbs of the Group 1 drivers had the fastest 5, 10, and 15 lap averages. And he had the fastest 15, 20, and 25 lap averages overall in practice. Austin Dillon on the racetrack. He's had a few top 5s at Michigan in his career. His best is 4th, where he finished twice in that position. 3 top 20s, but no top 10s in the 3 next-gen starts at this track. But he's had a lot of really good speed at Michigan. Again, this is my home track. I've been here far more than any other racetrack before. And I feel like I always see that 3 car running in the top 10 throughout the course of the race. And I wouldn't be surprised this weekend to see that as well. He was top 5 overall in practice, 2nd of Group 1. Here in qualifying, he's not going to put up anywhere near the lap time that Bowman and Gibbs did, 37.124. So a couple tenths off of those guys. That's a bit concerning. He may have to start deeper in the field, but as the race progresses, I could see him sneaking in with the top 10 towards the finish. Shane Van Gisbergen is now on the racetrack, looking to make his Michigan debut this weekend. Both full-time rookies this weekend for the race. SVG and Riley Herbst both making their first starts at this racetrack.
Racing at this level.
It's all the small details. Like you saw a couple hundreds just coming to the green. Those are the things that make him so great next week. You can't measure them all, right? Like, where is it? And it's a little bit everywhere. And then when you come to the oval, just the experience level just takes away a little bit everywhere. But improving, trending the right direction. His racing IQ so high. I love having conversations with him. His humility for what he's accomplished really jumps out. I mean, this guy is the boy. That might have been a little too low for me over the big bump right there.
He's 3rd, Kim.
And for Chase Briscoe is looking for his 3rd straight pole. As we talk about Michigan, though, high speeds, a lot of in-throttle time. How much commitment do you have to put out there as a driver during qualifying lap?
Yeah, it's for sure a lot of commitment. Honestly, this year it's a little bit easier because of this new tire. We're going to be pretty easy, wide open, it looks like. So, yeah, typically this place is like all about the commitment, but so far it looks like everybody's ran wide open all the way around. So, yeah, it'll just all be about the details, coming up to speed, hitting the shifts around, all those things. So, yeah, see who can do the best.
That's those details I was just talking about with SVG, right? So Briscoe, 2-time pole sitter, last 2 poles, he's already thinking about, as Dale said, just leaving pit road, just coming up through the gears, how much grip you get in 1 and 2, how you come through 3 and 4.
Ooh, Riley
Maybe
stepping
give up,
wide.
not lift, but maybe a little bit wider arc into 3. So to Dale's point, you don't have to run the bottom. You kind of want to run the biggest arc you can and just get total speed into the car.
I would say like Shane.
It wasn't a great turns 3 and 4 for Riley Herbst. 37.183 is where he times out, 8th of 9 qualifiers. As for the driver who went before him, Shane Van Gisbergen, a fairly respectable lap early in qualifying, 37.075 has him third. Ty Dillon on the racetrack. 11th is the best finish at Michigan for Ty Dillon. And that was back in 2019. 12th career start at MIS for Dillon. I don't think they're going to have any breaks during qualifying because of the cautions that we had during practice on the commercial side of things. So we'll take a quick break here while Ty Dillon is running his qualifying lap, and we'll continue our coverage here on KRC. They're condensed on time because the truck race starts in about an hour from now. So only 9 qualifiers in. But thank you for watching here, and Ty Dillon wrapping up his qualifying lap, third, 37 flat, as we'll take our first break. All right, Josh Berry in the 21 for the Wood Brothers is on the racetrack. He finished 22nd a season ago in his only Cup Series race at Michigan. Entering turns 3 and 4 right now in the Motorcraft Ford. Unique Motorcraft paint scheme this weekend for Josh Berry. And he went pretty wide through the center of 3 and 4, much like Riley Herbst did. I don't think that's going to be a great lap. Well, never mind, it was a great lap. Maybe that just means he was mashing the gas most of the way through the corner. 36.92 for Josh Berry. Wow. Pretty fast lap. I'm surprised the line that he had in 3 and 4 didn't look like it was going to be that quick. Ends up being the quickest time we've seen so far. Brad Keselowski, Michigan native. Anytime we come here, we know that he has not won at his home track, but he's had some good runs. He's finished runner-up 3 times. Fact check that on myself here. Yep, runner-up 3 times. And he has back-to-back top 5 finishes at Michigan. So he's been close these last 2 years with RFK. Both Buescher and Keselowski have been very fast at Michigan the last 2 years. And there's been more speed out of the 6 team in the last several weeks than what we've seen the entire year before that. And for Keselowski, he is going to end up 6th in qualifying as of right now through 12. 37.081. Not a great lap. I would probably like to think he's going to be in the back half of the field. We're going to see a lot of drivers running sub 37-second lap times that we haven't seen yet. We're still in the Group 1 tier of drivers from where they were in practice. John Hunter Nemechek is now on racetrack, 23rd in 2020. And the second race of their doubleheader weekend that year is the best finish for Nemechek. Ended up 29th a season ago. Not a great track for him. Definitely hurts on the Legacy Motor Club when you go to a bigger oval like this where it's all on just the raw speed of the race car. That's where these smaller teams tend to not perform as well as the big teams at a track like Michigan, but we'll see what any of them might have in store for this weekend. 37.031 for John Hunter Nemechek, 5th out of 13 in qualifying, and another RFK Ford on track, Ryan Preece, who has not ran with RFK at this track because this is his first run with this organization this season. But a Michigan best for Preece is actually 7th in 2019 with JTG Doherty Racing. And he finished 11th last year with SHR.
That their teammate Brad Keselowski is.
Yeah, so far it seems that way, right? We saw
The 90s. So down the back straightaway, just losing time because of the drag. See if we can gain a little bit more of that back in the corner, if any.
Teammate Brad Keselowski, 7. On the board comes Ryan Priest. Back to the start-finish line in the 60. That lap puts him 6th, right there, close to his teammate. Marty?
Boy, it is so tight out there, Adam. Let's chat with Denny Hamlin. Denny, when we're talking about from first to second being 7/1000ths of a second, what can you study here that might help you on your lap?
I'm working on race trim. They're working on qualifying, but it's just seeing what is the grip level. Checking out, seeing how much throttle's being applied, who the approach is coming up to speed, breaking all that stuff down to try to figure out how you can get a couple tenths of a mile per hour, because that obviously carries the entire lap.
Yeah, and just an update on Baby Watch real quick. Denny came to Michigan, Adam, at 6 a.m. this morning. No baby in the household yet, leaving immediately after he qualifies. He'll fly back in the morning. So no new Hamlin baby yet, but he will race tomorrow.
He's got to be patient on Baby Watch, but he'll be impatient on track, I guess, right? Those two.
All right, Cole Custer rounding out his qualifying lap, 37.052 for Custer. '23rd for Custer in the 2021 Michigan races, his best finish here, and this is going to be the 6th start for him at this track. Todd Gilliland beginning his qualifying lap. 2022, he finished 27th as his best run, 36th a year ago with a last place finish. So had a DNF last season, looking to get to the checkered flag this year.
Teammate Noah Gregson has already made his qualifying run. He sits 11th of the 15 cars that have been out.
It's gonna be right.
14th.
Touch slow.
71 is Michael McDowell. We talk so much about Spire and the speed that they have found. The road courses that are coming, something that would play into his favor. And he comes into the weekend not too far off that cut line. They've had a really successful first half of the regular season in the 71 camp.
Yeah, this car looks super drag. Top speed barely into the 197 range. I saw 198 just for a second. Figuring the bleed speed. And once again, makes it back to the corner exit. So the reason I say that is so it doesn't scrubbage much in the middle of the corner. Even though they're not lifting, it just has more overall grip, so it just turns better. So you should give up speed. And then from like the middle to the start finish line, maybe gain a little speed back. Start like right here. There you go. Starts to trend back the other way. And then you hit the aero drag and stop moving.
14th for Michael McDowell.
I like that approach of, hey man, we're going to put some comfort in the car for tomorrow. You might suffer a little bit on lap time in qualifying, but you can't go too far.
That's what I mean. It's
Right?
great to qualify 32nd. You're never gonna. The car's never gonna get in a position to handle it.
Right.
You're gonna be in the mess the whole day.
Ty Dillon up there in 4th. Here's his teammate, A.J. Allmendinger. And I'm not sure we gave them enough credit.
JC, thanks for tuning into the stream as well as everybody else who I haven't given a shout out yet throughout the course of our practice and qualifying live commentary stream. As you just heard there, Michael McDowell on his qualifying lap, just wrapping things up. 19th is the best finish for McDowell in his many races at Michigan. That actually came last season. So not a great racetrack for Michael McDowell. And as I mentioned already, if you're running for a B-tier team or less, you're not really going to see a lot of speed necessarily, and that's pretty much been McDowell through his entire career. 15th in qualifying for Michael, 37.151 on his lap. A.J. Allmendinger, his best finish at Michigan is 11 two different times, so he has yet to score a top 10. And as for A.J. on his qualifying lap, he had a better run, 5th, 37.013. So both the colleague cars relatively good in qualifying through the Group 1 set of drivers. We are officially halfway through qualifying, 18 down, 18 to go. So all the Group 1 drivers have went. Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, and A.J. Allmendinger are currently the top 5. And Josh Berry's lap time to beat is a 36.92, a 195.016 mile per hour average. So we have seen faster laps in practice so far from what we've seen in qualifying. Some of that obviously has to do with the draft down these long straightaways at Michigan, the higher corner entry speed. So one of the few tracks where you may actually see similar or faster pace in the race than what you would see in qualifying, especially for a non-drafting oval by way of the package that they use. Obviously, this is not the same package they would run at a Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta. So as they're on a full screen commercial break on Prime Video, we will get into the next break on our stream. We're also 13 likes away from our goal of 50, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Truck Series coverage will begin at the top of the hour as well, about 50 minutes from now, so just want to plug that in. And no live commentary for tomorrow because I'll be at the Cup race. But we are obviously going full bore with today's qualifying coverage as well as practice a little bit ago. Truck Series race coverage later as well, right here on KRC.
Brad Keselowski, also a Michigan native. 3 runner-ups here, looking for that first dub at the home track.
Yeah, it's been a good track for us. All but the win, Danielle. I mean, we've got poles, stage wins, laps led, but looking for that elusive win. Hopefully we'll have a shot to do that. Not quite the qualifying effort we were hoping for, but, the way these cars race is going to be a lot different than the way they qualify.
Yeah, and that's what I'm watching. You've got so much experience here. Obviously, the win is hugely important. Are you working? Then he just said, "Hey, I'm focused on the race." What are you focused on right now?
Absolutely. The racetrack here, once they go green, come Sunday, Carl, it changes. You get it a lot hotter. The track is a lot slicker. You get all kinds of different pit strategies. And what's really important is whatever strategy you're on, this is how I feel about it, that you're fast enough to be the leader of that strategy. And your car needs to race well to do that. So you can get track position. When you get it, you got to make the most of it.
Brad, before you jumped on, I asked how the car was. I said, we're pretty good, but our teammates really good. So do you go back, sit down for 17 and try to get your car closer, or do you just have a little bit different feel behind the wheel than Chris does?
The 17 car for us at RK has had so much speed on practice days. Qualifies super well. In the race, I feel like our 3 cars are probably closer. We're still not sure why that is. But yeah, we'll certainly look and see if there's anything that stands out for us.
And you were kind enough to let me come over last week, be in the competition meeting. You've taken a real leadership role in this team. Can you tell us how that feels for you as a driver?
Great when we're fast, right? But like I tell people, I come to the race weekend now and I got 3 chances to win. It's kind of how I feel about it, right? Which is good. When we're slow, it's like, it's over 3 slow cars. But this weekend, it looks like we're going to have a couple really good ones. And we'll have to see if we can get victory.
Brad, it's interesting. You've stayed so optimistic throughout a pretty difficult season. With where you're at in points, do you circle Michigan? Do you feel like you're in a must-win situation?
Yeah, I think we're right in points, Daniel. We definitely need to win. But there's a lot of opportunities. Today's NASCAR is so much different than NASCAR years past. I've had seasons over the last few years where you're like, hey, great points. We've done all the things right. You get 1 win or no win at all. And you're like, at the end of the year, it doesn't mean anything. Wins are all that matters in NASCAR right now.
It's hard to believe we've run here 107 times at the Cup level AA, and no driver born from Michigan has ever won. Maybe BK could be the first to do it tomorrow.
I bet that. I feel like we got 3 pretty good chances this weekend with Brad, Eric Jones, Carson Hocevar. Let's go on board here with Zane Smith. Great run here last year. He's got a truck victory in Michigan.
Solid qualifying lap for Zane Smith, third, 36.937. That's surprising considering the fact that his teammates are further down the list. Gillen 17th out of 20. And Noah Gregson 13th out of 20, but third for Zane Smith. So finding some speed in that Front Row Motorsports Ford after all here on qualifying day. Austin Cindric on the racetrack for Penske. As you just heard the interview with Brad Keselowski on the Prime Video broadcast. Best finish, by the way, for Zane Smith. He did finish 7th last year with Spire Motorsports. Daniel Suarez qualified as the Keselowski interview was starting. And Suarez on his qualifying lap, 19th out of 20. 37.230. Poor lap for Daniel. Best finish for Suarez at Michigan, 4th in 2019 in the June race. he has had speed with Trackhouse in the races here. The last 3 years with the next gen car, he's led in all 3 races. Laps of 7, 12, and 33 laps led. And he finished 8th here last season, 6th in 2023. So despite the speed that Trackhouse has brought to Michigan in recent years, and for Daniel Swartz specifically, definitely lacking it this weekend on the 99 bunch. Austin Cindric, best finish of 12th at Michigan in 2023. No top 10s in his first 3 starts. Pretty good in qualifying like we've seen out of Cindric for most of the year. 36.938 would put him 4th currently. And Josh Berry, the affiliated Wood Brothers teammate, still leads the way. Chase Briscoe was fastest overall in practice, so he should be a threat to try to get this pole. He's tracking in the green as he exits turn 4 right now, and as he comes to the line, he will get the top time. And it will time in at a 36.826. 195.514 mile per hour average on that lap. Going back into practice real quick to see what the fastest lap time was there. And I'm not going to be able to find it with qualifying going on right now, unfortunately. Here's Joey Logano on pit road.
Went all the way around, but I think it's everything but that. You got to really gut up to do it. It's definitely challenging, but it's an exhilarating lap. And I feel like our Hunt Brothers Pizza Mustang probably could do that. At least you got to convince yourself that it can do it, because you got to try it and see what we got.
Joey threw out the first pitch this week at the Kannapolis Cannonballers game. Lefty. I'm just going to say I'm really glad he's a good race car driver.
Oh, no.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. But the reality is he did not look comfortable on the mound. His poor teammate looks good.
That was a shot fired there from Adam Alexander at Joey Logano. So Briscoe, his top time, best finish at Michigan is 11th. He has yet to score a top 10, though obviously his first year at JGR. Best next gen finish is 20th, so that 11th was in 21 with the Gen 6. The next 3 races, even worse than that for Briscoe, but he's got speed this weekend. This is a track JGR has performed very well at, especially in the next gen car. Hamlet's had some good runs here. Tyler Reddick in a Toyota, at least last year, was able to win, albeit a 2311 Toyota. Christopher Bell's had some fast cars as well, even though he hasn't had a top 10 finish. He's gotten involved in incidences recently, but Briscoe, good out of the gate. He scored a pole in the last 2 races, trying to go for 3 in a row here today. Chris Buescher qualified just after him. He's the 2023 Michigan race winner. Second for Buescher, by the way, 36.908. 6th last season for Buescher at Michigan. Kyle Busch wrapping up his qualifying lap. Look at that. Speed was lacking in practice, but Kyle Busch second in qualifying, 36.853. He's had some pretty good runs at Michigan. Over the last 10 races, last 12 races, he's had 10 top 10s at Michigan. He led 24 laps and finished 4th last season. And he is a former Michigan winner. He won in the August race of 2011. So Kyle Busch looking sporty in qualifying here today. We'll see what that will bring for him tomorrow. He should be starting up in the top 10 at the very least. Eric Jones, Michigan native. Yet to win at the track. As you heard, no Michigan native has ever won a cup race at Michigan. But Jones has finished as good as 3rd. And that came in his rookie season in 2017. He has 2 top 10s in the last 3 races here with the 43 bunch. And decent in qualifying, 37.034. He's within a few thousandths of a second of his teammate Nemechek, just 1 spot ahead of him. So it seems like both the legacy cars getting as much as they can out of it in qualifying 11th and 12th currently. Chase Elliott is now on track. No top 10s in the last 3 races at Michigan with the next-gen car for Elliott. He does have 3 second-place finishes, but they all came in his first 3 career starts at the track. And then Kyle Larson happened. Essentially, both at Hendrick Motorsports and the fact that Larson won 3 races in a row here in the late 2010s, mid to late 2010s. So that also happened. Chase Elliott runner-up to him a couple times. Chase a little bit off in qualifying here. More than a tenth and a half from the pole lap of Briscoe. Ninth for Elliott, 36.997. Not a lot of discrepancy with those top 10 cars right now. Barely over a tenth the difference from first through ninth, where Elliott just timed in. All sub 37-second lap times as well. Ross Chastain only has one top 10 in Michigan, 7th in 2023. He has led in all 3 Michigan Next Gen races, just like Daniel Suarez, his teammate. And he has qualified top 10 in the last 2 Michigan races, so he should be decent in qualifying, I would expect here. Through turns 1 and 2, he's dropping a bit down the back straightaway. Which probably makes sense, considering the fact that the Trackhouse cars have been a little off on the speed side of things for most of the season, although Chastain did pick up a win in the Coke 600 a couple weeks ago on an intermediate track. Outside of that, it really hasn't been special for him this season. 12th for Chastain, 37.031. So just outside the top 10 for Chastain, he'll probably start mid-pack. We're getting down towards the end of qualifying. Right now, we've got the defending race winner, Tyler Reddick, on track. He won from the front row, a season ago, qualified second in that race. He only led 15 laps, though. Despite starting on the front row and winning, and Toyota's being good at Michigan, Tyler Reddick looking to have a better run this weekend from start to finish of the race than what he did a year ago and not have to claw from behind. Although in qualifying, he is definitely lacking from where he was a year ago. Not going to be anywhere near Briscoe's pole lap. Let's see here. 8th for Reddick, 36.954. I'll probably end up getting bumped out of the top 10 by the time we finish things up here. I think there's still 7 drivers who have to qualify. Only 6 active drivers have won a pole at Michigan. Chase Briscoe, not one of them. So he's trying to be the 7th of active drivers. And it would be 3 poles in a row for JGR at Michigan International Speedway, as well as 3 poles in a row for Briscoe if he can hang on. One of his teammates, Christopher Bell, is now on track. No career top 10s, as you heard from him in the mid-qualifying interview. 6 starts at Michigan. He's finished 13th 3 times for his best run. He's wrecked out of a couple of the next-gen races. He actually spun out from the lead here 2 years ago. 37.061 for Bell, 18th. Well off of his teammate Briscoe in qualifying. I still think he'll have decent speed for the race tomorrow. Questionable pick for the fantasy team, though, considering he hasn't gotten a top 10 out of it yet. Decent speed only matters if he can make it to the finish line. Bubba Wallace has a 1 at Michigan, but he was runner-up in 2022. He also won the pole for the race in 2022. And he's qualified in the top 5 twice in the 3 next-gen races here, so he should be quick for qualifying, I would expect, with those stats, although his teammate Reddick, who just went before him, who was on the front row last year, qualified 8th. It does look like Wallace's lap is a bit better. Losing time through 3 and 4. He'll gain it on corner exit. That means he rolled into the throttle earlier through the middle of the corner, backed out on entry. 6 for Wallace, a few spots better than Reddick, 36.937 for Bubba. Carson Hocevar now to the racetrack. Finished 10th a season ago in his only start at the track. He qualified 11th in that race last year. He finished 2nd at Nashville a week ago. The week before that in the Coke 600, he was competing for a win late before an engine failure. Was side by side with Denny Hamlin for the lead on a restart when that engine gave out with about 90 laps left in that event. So we'll see what he can do this weekend. He's had some fast equipment underneath him. He was top 10 in practice earlier, well ahead of the other Spire Chevys. In qualifying, he's going to be well ahead of them as well, considering they're both looking to start outside the top 30. Hocevar will be in the top half of the field. I don't know if he's going to hold on for a top 10, though. Gains a little bit of time off the exit of turn 4, trending right back in the correct direction. 10th for Hocevar, but I don't think it'll hold for a top 10 overall. 36.973. 5 drivers to go, so time for the number 5. Kyle Larson, 3-time winner at Michigan, all consecutive, 2016 through 2017 with Chip Ganassi Racing. He hasn't won here with Hendrick Motorsports, but obviously he's had good runs, including a year ago. He led 41 laps from the 4th starting spot before a DNF. Couple of bad runs back-to-back weeks with the 600 in Nashville last week for Larson. So we shall see if that team can pick up on the speed side of things this weekend. Qualifying's looking decent for him. It's better than Hocevar's lap, and he's 10th right now. So the benchmark, I think Larson could get this car in the top 5. He's picking up a little bit of time as he exits turn 4. He's going to be off the pole time, but I think he's going to get within the first few rows. 3rd for Larson, 36.889. Only our 3rd lap of a sub 36.9 so far in qualifying. 4 drivers left, and those 4 will be Logano, Byron, Hamlin, and Blaney. Blaney will finish things out. Logano is up. He is also a 3-time Michigan winner. All 3 of his wins have come from the pole spot. So if Logano qualifies on the pole this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, he might win the race. Ford's been hot as of late. All 4 drivers in the Penske wagon with the 3 Penske cars and the Josh Berry Wood Brothers Ford have all scored a win already in the first 14 races of the season. Logano not looking to track for the pole necessarily unless he has a big pickup in 3 and 4. Not going to happen. Logano still falling on his lap time. Cindric is in 9th. I think Logano is going to be outside the top 10. On the benchmark, 36.975 for Logano, 12th for Joey. So he will not get his 5th pole at Michigan. William Byron is up next. He's qualified on the pole quite a bit in his Cup career, but never at Michigan International Speedway. He's also never won a race here, but he finished 2nd 2 different times. He was a runner-up last year to Tyler Reddick, and he finished 3rd and 4th in the first 2 stages of that race. So just consistently top 5 all the way through, which is basically what he's been here through the last couple of weeks since the All-Star break as well. Ran top 3 almost the entirety of Nashville as well as the Coke 600. Good qualifying lap for Byron. 3rd, 1 spot better than his teammate Larson. Bumps Larson back to 4th. 36.878 for Byron. And up next is Denny Hamlin in the Yahoo Toyota Camry. Hamlin has scored 2 poles at Michigan, 2024 last season and 2018. And he's also won here 2 different times as well. 5 top 5s and 7 straight top 10 finishes in those last 7 races. He's got the longest active top 10 streak at Michigan. Good pick for your fantasy team this weekend if you weren't already considering Denny Hamlin. He's showing speed in qualifying. He's flirting with the top time of Chase Briscoe. Very strong chance the JGR is going to get 3 poles in a row here at Michigan. Hamlin drops off on entry into 3, trying to pick up on exit. Ticker is going in Hamlin's direction, but as he comes to the line, he's going to be a couple hundredths off still. Third for Hamlin, 36.861. He was about 5 hundredths, maybe 4 hundredths, 3 hundredths off of Briscoe's time, about 3.5. That's where that time's in. So I get my math gathered together there. Denny Hamlin has wrapped up his session, and it's down to the final driver, Ryan Blaney. He's the 2021 Michigan winner. He also has been very good at Michigan. Last 10 races, 7 top 10s. Last season, he won a stage after qualifying well in this race. We'll see if he qualifies well again. Blaney through 1 and 2. We'll see what kind of time he has down the back straightaway. It's looking good for Ryan Blaney so far. He's within a few hundredths of Chase Briscoe. He's going to need a bit of a pickup through 3 and 4, though. On the tracker. Corner entry speed. Down. Corner exit. Oh, he got against the wall. He was pushing maybe a little too hard. And what was going to be a potential front row spot ends up being 36.961 as he crosses the line. Man, he was trying to get all he could there. He definitely brushed the wall. It was just a kiss. He didn't hit it hard, but he definitely scrubbed some time off in doing so. You could tell he was going for it. He had a good lap going until then. Well, here's Chase Briscoe, your pole sitter for the 3rd consecutive week.
Going to stand up, especially in 3 and 4. What happened down there on your lap?
Yeah, I tried to run low. I felt like with this all running wide open fairly easily, if you just cut a lot of distance, it would be better. And I ran low, but then I ended up way high on exit. And I felt like the guys that kind of opened up their entry would maybe beat me back to the line. So, yeah, I don't know. I was surprised that truthfully I held on. It was not as easy as I thought it was going to be, truthfully, as far as just holding it wide open. But yeah, our Bass Pro Shops Toyota has been, pretty fast. In race tram, I thought we could have been a little bit better still, but yeah, it'll definitely be nice starting up front. We've been able to do that now 3 weeks in a row, and we haven't really been able to execute with it. So hopefully, 3rd time's the charm, and hopefully we can finally get one on Sunday.
You mentioned it. Saturdays have been fantastic. What's the missing element on Sundays, Chase?
Yeah, I mean a little bit of everything. I wouldn't say it's one thing. Like last week, our pit crew did a really good job. Charlotte obviously we had the mess up on pit road, but then last week I felt like a lot of it was me. I just kind of lost control of the race when I tried to lap Larson, and then just it's still for me a mental switch of like on these restarts, like I don't have to be so aggressive. In the past my car wasn't as good, so I'm doing these high risk moves that sometimes you gain a couple spots, but sometimes you lose some, and this deal I need to learn. I just need to maintain sometimes because my car is going to be good enough overall. So yeah, I just got to do a better job overall, and yeah, nice that our Saturdays have been good, but need to do it on Sundays as well.
3rd week in a row for Chase Briscoe in the 19 team.
Qualified fifth for tomorrow's race, but we want to talk about the race last night, the World Outlaws. Scary flips. How are you feeling, and what's the mindset for tomorrow's Cup Series race?
I feel fine. Yeah, that was an unfortunate, part failure there, but yeah, we felt good today. Held it wide open there in qualifying, so as the whole field. But yeah, I don't know. Practice didn't go honestly that smooth. I felt like our balance was really tight, so we had to try to work on it. Never really quite got it better, but hopefully we can find a little bit more turn tomorrow. I think with all of us being very similar on speed, it'll be difficult in traffic. So I think if you can have some turn, it'd be a benefit. So yeah, I think that's our main objective at this point. But overall, happy to qualify fifth there. That's honestly a little bit better than I thought we would be. So yeah, good with that. And now we'll rest up and study and try and be ready for tomorrow.
Kyle Larson, a 3-time Michigan winner.
Thank you, Kim. Now,
all right, fans filing in for the Truck Series race, which will be starting in about a half hour from now. We'll go through the starting lineup for our FireKeepers Casino 400 at Michigan, taking place tomorrow afternoon. Again, 3 weeks in a row, Chase Briscoe has scored a pole, now matches Larson for the most on the season with 3. And 3 years in a row that JGR has put a car on pole here at MIS. Kyle Busch, the 2011 August winner, will start outside of row number 1 in the 2nd spot. Row number 2 will be made up of Denny Hamlin and William Byron. Hamlin, a 2-time Michigan winner. Byron, 2-time runner-up. Kyle Larson, the 3-time Michigan winner, and the 2023 race winner Chris Buescher make up row 3. Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs in row number 4. Gibbs 3rd last year, and Josh Berry outside the top 20. Bubba Wallace, Zane Smith in row number 5. Wallace, the 2022 runner-up, and Zane Smith, a top 10 in his only MIS start last year. Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, the defending winner of the race, will be in row 6. Ryan Blaney, 2021 Michigan winner, and Carson Hocevar, Michigan native, in row row number 7. Row number 8 will be Joey Logano, the 3-time Michigan winner, and Alex Bowman. 3-time Michigan runner-up Chase Elliott inside of row number 9, outside Ty Dillon. AJ Allmendinger and Ross Chastain make up row 10. Row 11 for John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones. Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, row 12. Christopher Bell and SVG will make up row number 13. Brad Keselowski, another Michigan native, inside of row 14 with Austin Dillon. Noah Gregson and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., row 15. Row 16 for Justin Haley, Michael McDowell, Todd Gillen, Riley Herbst, row 14. Or, sorry, I don't know why I have said row 14 there. I apologize for that. Row number 17. And then row 18 will be Daniel Suarez and Cody Ware. So that rounds out our qualifying order. Kyle Busch is with Marty Snyder. You missed the start of the interview. Here's the finish of it.
Faster you can go, you know. So when you're a little hesitant, especially with these cars and the way the world is today, like you're losing time pretty quickly, you know. And the time is so tight, anyways, that you just have to have more grip than everybody else. But it's so hard to find that. So overall speed and getting that grip, but you know that those two go hand in hand.
Nice starting spot for Kyle Busch and RCR tomorrow afternoon.
No doubt he talked.
Yeah, front row for Busch, as mentioned already. Sorry, I was messing up on some of the rows going through the qualifying order there. But that is your starting grid for tomorrow's race. There will be no live commentary stream tomorrow. Coverage with the pre-race at 1:30 Eastern and the start time just after 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon at NIS. As far as the live commentary streams go for this weekend, we still have one more. The Craftsman Truck Series race will be at noon Eastern on the channel, so about a half hour from now we'll go live. Stock up on my water, grab a snack, and I'll be ready to go here soon. Hope to see you guys for that. Thanks for tuning in throughout the course of our live commentary stream for this practice and qualifying coverage at Michigan. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content like this every NASCAR race weekend. See you guys soon, everyone.